Hello and welcome to the Talking Locs with Locitude podcast. This is episode number 29. Today I have with me Amelia Cole. She's going to introduce herself shortly and we're going to be having a conversation, I guess. And in the meantime, I'm still your host, Ade Balogun. So Amelia, welcome to the podcast. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Amelia, and I am I'm older with 2 kids and with my wonderful locks. I've had locks for about 5 years, but before that, I had loose natural hair. So in total, I've had it for about 20 something years now, and it's been a journey. It's been actually the lock part has been more fun. So I started it begrudgingly. You know, my husband was like, "You should get locks." I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. Yeah, he said you should get locks. Actually, he has been telling me to get locks since we met.
That's very interesting because the first time I personally thought the first time I really wanted to lock my hair, I told my hairdresser, his name is Henry at the time, that, I really like this locks thing. I want to do it. And I was like, auntie, nobody's going to marry you. Meanwhile,
Have you told him that?
I don't even know where Henry is at the moment. Oh, but that's pretty cool. So for more context, Amelia has a buzz cut. She has shaved sides. Her hair is really fly. And her hair is always in a nice updo. She's very, very eccentric. And, before we started recording, we were talking about piercings and tattoos. And we came across this video, which we'll probably get into maybe if we have time to get into it. Mm-hmm. So do you think that having locks is like a bad gang statement? You know, have you had that vibe in the last 5 years?
See, that's an interesting question, because that bad gang thing, it depends on who you're around, right? A lot of I'm Nigerian. Oh, I meant to say that. I'm Nigerian. I'm married to a Sierra Leonean, and I've lived in the US for 20 something years. So, for the most part, I guess I'm American, if you want to say, and a lot of my friends are not only American, but American kind of born,
integrated.
So I don't think they think that locks is bad gang, right? It's part of bad gang. But I remember saying to my mom, "Oh, Dad, I want to get locks," and she's like, "That's what you want to do now?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." And my parents are very liberal compared to any Nigerian parents I know. So that bit of resistance was all I got, really. But I think more of the resistance, or more of the looks, were from older Nigerians.
Right.
When you go to a party and they're like, auntie, or some of them just outright look at you and be like, this is your hair. And okay, so I wasn't single when I had, locks. So, but I can imagine Henry saying,
You didn't have that problem. I actually have a nickname for people like that. I call them the Bad Belly Association.
I'm telling you, they own
it. Okay, so but we just watched this video. I think let me just get that out of the way. So today is April 24th, I think, and I think some 12 hours ago on Nigeria Instagram, I came across this video which I showed to Amelia and our producer, of a Nigerian father who was beating up his kid and literally forcefully cutting his locks. The boy appeared to be a teenage boy or maybe early 20s.
Yeah,
and I think the whole thing was about if you're under your father's house, why do you have locks? And the whole conversation, of course, when you come across such comments or such videos, it takes me directly to the comment section. Yes. And I saw that a lot of the comments were about, as far as you're under your father's roof, you shouldn't, have that kind of hairstyle. The father has the final say. You're not making any money. Why are you keeping locks and all of that? But it was really interesting because I'm like, nobody is really talking about what's bad about this hair. Yeah. How is it really different from the hair growing out of your head? What has made it automatically so bad that, you can't have it? And so I'm like,
those comments are implicitly saying something is wrong. Saying, how can you have locks under your father's roof? It's not drugs.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? That comment is almost saying that locks are something clandestine, something you're doing something. obviously I'm ignorant because I was shocked by it. I'm like, wait, I'm sorry. First of all, I was shocked by the physicalness of the video. Like, why are you hitting
Basically
an
abuse.
adult? Like, he was hitting him and cutting his hair. Like, again, maybe I've lived in America too long because I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And the comments, Locs, what's wrong with Locs? Okay, so maybe we're connecting it to these cultural, which is also partly religious, this whole dada thing. What's wrong with dadas? Is it that were they also said to be like what was the thing about dada being bad?
Okay, so for the little I know, and I think I mentioned a little bit of it in the Pondering podcast episode number 28 before now, the little I know about Dada and the Celestial Church is that a lot of times when these kids are born, they are taken to somebody called an Oli, which means like maybe a holy priest, who kind of helps to foresee the child's future. And the priest would say, this child has some obstacles in their life. Do not cut their hair for 5 years, for 6 years, or until the child says so.
So I have to interrupt there.
Yeah.
Are you saying that this is part of the Celestial Church? So this person is claiming to see the future?
So I'm speaking very loosely,
Okay,
but just
loosely.
now,
Okay, 'cause I'm
I
like,
really
wait,
don't know
what?
because it's also tied to some parts of the Bible and Samson and his hair,
right.
and cutting off his power.
That's true.
So I don't practice this religion, so I really don't know what the specifics are, why they do what they do. But from the little research I have done, that's what I found out.
Okay.
And because we are African, when you do not cut a child's hair, it will lock.
I mean, hello.
So it's not like there's anything special about the hair.
No.
It's just if any
it's not combed,
child
they will yes,
doesn't
yes.
comb the hair, it will lock.
That's it.
So there's really nothing wrong with it in my perspective.
No.
And I think it's easy for me to say because, I make money off hair. But having 2 boys yourself, how old are your boys now?
8, almost 9 and 5.
So they're approaching like teenage years.
Please, not yet, man. We're not ready for that. We're not quite ready for that yet. But I know what you mean.
So what would be your, if your sons come back home as 12 and they're like, Mom, I want to pierce my ear. I want to have locks. As a mom, would you be like, not under my roof? Or would you pull out your scissors as well?
First of all, that's so funny that you said, well, I want to pierce my ear and get locks. Why were those 2 things together? GC, was that a slip of some sort, or was that on purpose? Because if they want to get locks, I'll be incredibly hypocritical if I said something about that, right? Because I have locks. Right now, he gets his hair cut by dad every Saturday, so that on its own is a fight. So I don't know. I should be like, do you want to lock your hair? I don't know. I don't think I will have any reaction. The problem is maintenance. Am I in charge of maintenance? Because I have enough going on.
Well, but cutting his hair is also maintenance, so.
Yeah, but see, as I said, hands off. That's why when people say, oh, you want to have girls? I don't have girls. I don't have to do anything. It's him and dad. They cut their hair. I don't have to do anything.
Okay, so as long as dad can do it,
exactly.
It's more about maintenance.
Exactly.
Okay, but just even speaking to this, I'm just like, we're pondering and having these discussions. And we've just talked about like locks and compared it to piercings. And what makes these things and like tattoos, like what makes those things like really bad labeled?
Why are they connected in our brain?
Yes,
well, no, maybe not in our brain, but now
in our brain, clearly.
Right, like because it's bad gang. I think because it's different.
But different to what? Because if you look at our history
Different
as
to
African, people have always marked themselves. We do have cultures with tribal marks.
Right.
Like,
but
those are literally
everyone
like tattoos.
marked themselves.
Yeah.
Everyone did this. Like different in that you are going against, like if you think about history of hair in Africa, well, I don't know if I should say Africa or West Africa, since we're more familiar with West Africa. We are all about the crack of the hair. We're all about getting perms, getting weaves. That's what we know.
So I think that's
To
more
the
of a
fact
West
that when you
African
have
thing.
natural hair, they're looking at you like something is wrong.
Yeah.
So you not only deciding to have loose natural hair, but locks, that's completely out of the...
So, I've
Whatever it is.
been in this industry for a while, and then I've had my own locks for, I think, November this year would make it 13 years, and I'm about to like chop like two-thirds of it off. I'm so excited. It's going to happen soon. I'm sure by the time I'm recording the next episode of this podcast, I would have short locks.
Calm down. Maybe we'll do GoFundMe or something on Instagram. Say, keep Ade's locks.
No,
don't cut them.
No, don't please. No petitions.
That's the word. Petition.
I'm done. Oh, but now I'm losing my trail of thoughts. Oh gosh. But I think what I was trying to say is around the fact that
we're saying the locks are different, right?
Yes.
And you said, well, not really. You've had locks, and I'm saying no.
Okay, yes. So thank you for bringing me back to my trail of thought. So I've been having this conversation for almost 13 years personally. So like personally, I had to face the confrontation, and I'll tell you, natural hair, generally speaking, today in 2022 and what it was in 2009 when I started my locks, is two different things. There's more awareness. People, I don't see as many people putting relaxers in their hair anymore. Everybody's on about the wig crack, but at least not the relaxers anymore. People have this better consciousness towards the hair.
And there's more products, and there's more people who show people what to do with the hair.
Yes.
So you don't feel as alone, I guess. Maybe you can always find a YouTube video on how to manage your hair now versus when I first had natural hair. It was an impulse thing. I just chopped my hair off and yeah. And
for me, it was convenience. So, but the point is, so in 2022, are we still not able to really see what makes us feel negative about locks, or is it just you and I that are imagining it? Is there still that negativity? Clearly, someone just beat up his son 12 hours ago.
Yes.
So I don't.
Well,
or is it because it's a guy?
I don't know. Maybe that question is two-part, because for you, I'm sure your listeners know that you have the same lockitude business in Nigeria. The fact that you have a lockitude business in Nigeria and it's making money might be an answer to part of your question. There is still some negative, maybe it always will, because we always fight every change that comes to culture. But the fact that you have business for people who are coming to get locks is a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's both and, I guess. We're going to hold tight to our ideas about locks and other things, because, come on, if we know ourselves, especially when it's connected to religion, oh my God, we're so gung-ho on, I know that's how it is. And this whole, as we said, Dada thing, we don't have the facts or the, hard details about the history of Dada and what it is that makes us fight it so hard, especially when it comes to religion. But when it comes to before, it used to be like, it doesn't look nice. But that's a lie. It does.
I think I have a solution.
Great.
I have a proposal. Okay. I found it. This is an eureka moment. This is the solution to all our problems in the lock community.
Listen
First,
for it, y'all.
We need a president with locks. We need a pastor with locks. We need representation with locks. I think the good thing is Justice Jackson. I got her name right. Yes.
Yes.
Oh. I am fully in American politics. Look at me. Yeah. She has sister locks. I personally don't like sister locks, but they are locks. They are natural hair. She's a woman in position of power. She's done so much more than Michelle Obama did and Beyonce has done in terms of popularity.
In this podcast?
I admire her hard work. Look, I hope I don't get into trouble.
Oh, I don't care.
I don't want to be cancelled.
I know, right? I know. I don't care.
But she's done a lot more. So I think the more representation we have, the more, this man who clearly still has a lot of backward thinking about the hair that's coming. I wouldn't even say it's backward. I would say it's more of colonial.
Yes.
The colonial thinking.
Because it's the hair that comes out of your head. You know that in America, I don't know what year, how many years ago, maybe it's this year, there was just a Crown Act.
Yeah, it just happened a few weeks ago, actually. It happened a few weeks ago. But the interesting thing about the Crown Act is if you're being discriminated against because of your hair, how do you know? How can you enforce it?
Well, for those people, remember, I think when I first met you, we're talking about the workplace and locks. And I remember looking for a job a long time ago. And this lady, I was using like a headhunter or something. And this little white lady, and she was like, oh, there's this lady, you're gonna go for an interview there, and I don't know, let's just say her name is, Lisa, and Lisa's got these locks, oh, but hers are really neat, so they look fine. We all know something in all of us goes,
You're trying to tell me that
why are you telling me her hair looks neat?
Anyway, I would say it's a plus, definitely. So I've only been in America for like under 2 years now. So
You're doing good.
my perspective on race and racial issues is very limited, because I still think about the world in a very Nigerian sense, and in a world that 99.999% of us are black, and then fortunately for me, I've also landed in a part of America that is very, very black,
yes.
So there are tons of black
and
people
very,
around me.
very diverse. We're in this little pocket where you walk down the street and hear all kinds of languages and everything is great. I just said we went to North Carolina. Now that's not the case there, ma'am.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want to like personally speak to it, but you've been here for quite some time. You went to college here. You had to navigate, America, not just with locks for the past 5 years, but as a black person. And would you say that, okay, let's even have this conversation on several levels, because you said something that before we started recording about how for some people, locks is like, I'm going on this journey, kumbaya,
Maybe I was being a hater. But I think that, okay, so the question first you asked, let's table that. I'm going to answer that. But the question you asked about what it's like relating to hair in America. With natural hair, when I had natural hair, was not, as you just said, it wasn't like, oh, now where Target has all the stuff you need and, all that. I remember Kinky Curly, if you know that brand, I had to order it. Now it's in Target. And I remember in college, and I went to college in Kent, Ohio. I went to Kent State University in Ohio.
It just sounds white.
Oh, completely, come on, completely white. Kent, the city, claims it's a city without a college, but whatever. We all know better. But people would, even black people, African Americans would be like, oh, so you're just gonna have your hair like that? I'm like, yeah. And please know, listeners, that I'm not a revolutionary. I'm not like, I don't buck the trend. I don't have the energy for it. I might wax philosophical, but I'm not going to be wearing, dashiki in 1960s, my fist up. No, that's not me. But it was fun to me. And I was like, of course I'm going to wear my hair like that. What kind of question is that? It's not my hair. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of questions I got. Or people going, oh, I got the can I touch question a lot. And I'm like, no.
Does that offend you, by the way?
It irritates me. Because it makes me feel like I'm in a zoo. Do you know how you do when you go to the zoo and you're looking at the exotic animals?
I get what you mean, but now this is me speaking from a very Nigerian perspective.
And I appreciate it. Yeah.
It's like if a white person hasn't really encountered a black person before, you never had a black friend before, and you're curious. It's just your curiosity. You want to know how their hair feels. Like, so in my mind, I know how a white person's hair feels because we've been putting creamy crack in our hair. I know how wigs feel.
And every
doll I had that kind of hair. So is it so wrong for someone to just be curious?
No, it is not wrong for anyone to be curious. Curiosity fuels our lives change.
And asking is a nice thing, please.
But don't, like, I'm glad for you that you're curious, but no, you can't touch my hair. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but figure it out. Like, maybe I've lived in America too long that I'm having some of that anti-Karen sentiment. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you start feeling
Karen.
like, please, carry Joe and we people.
Yeah.
But no, I don't want to go out into the world like that. I don't want to have that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. I know I have knowledge of the fact that race relations are real. Mm-hmm. However, it just makes me feel weird when it's different if it's a friend of mine that is like, "Ooh, that's nice. Can I touch?" Yeah, you can touch. But when I'm just like, walking to the metro and somebody goes, "Can I touch your hair?" No, you can't touch my hair. No, ma'am.
Yeah.
I think, and also for people who are weird with personal space, no. Like, people are freaked out. I know Africans, we don't really understand personal space per se.
Yeah.
And it's not only Africans. I'm not bashing us. Koreans, Asians are like that too. If you go to, you notice like little grandmas are always like in your face and you're like, whoa, grandma. So it's a thing. But no, you can't touch my hair. I appreciate curiosity. You have to figure out, do the work, as they say, do the work on your own. So I can understand curiosity. I can understand that you don't know what it feels like, but I don't want to be your test case.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
So I got a lot of that.
Makes some sense.
Yeah, I got a lot of that.
Makes some sense.
And I have a lot of, like, in when I went to college, my friends till today are white. So I have a lot of friends who are white. And of course, we'll talk about it and we'll have open discussions and they'll want to touch it, and that's cool.
But you know the interesting thing that beyond race, I went to dinner last night, and of course, all of us that were on that table were very black. We're very, very, very black. And, you know, and one of the ladies at the table, I was telling her what I do, and she was like, oh, she does hair as well, but she doesn't do locks. And then in the middle of our conversation, I realized that she didn't realize my hair was my hair. Yes.
Okay.
So, you know, this is a lady that is as dark as you are, you know, her hair was straightened, but...
Was she an African American?
No, she's from Haiti, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's African from a different diaspora.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
okay.
And it's quite interesting because I feel like sometimes the conversation can seem very along racial lines. But in the time I have done hair professionally, I've actually had people battle with confronting the texture of their own hair. A lot of people don't know what their own hair feels like.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know how to manage their own hair. A lot of people don't, like, when it locks up and you're like, oh my God, like,
what do I do now?
What do I do? It also leads to making wrong decisions even when you have locked hair, because when you start putting a lot of products in your hair so that it locks, because you just don't understand the baseline texture, baseline formation of what your hair does. So I just I'm not trying to like apologize for anything we try to do, compare with races, but I'm just saying that even as Black people, a man is going to beat up his child because he doesn't really understand. There's a disconnect from when we were colonized to what became the normal, what's you know, you had to do to survive.
Yes.
So in many ways, I do know that this African man wants the best for his child. That's why he's doing that's why he has done what he has done. But if we can just all like have some coffee with Amelia and think about it.
I like that. Thanks for the plug.
And think about it. And like, you know, just think about it. Like, okay, you know, why am I really beating this boy? Why is...
But don't you think you're giving... This sounds
I'm
horrible.
giving him too much.
Yeah,
I'm being too nice.
Not even that, but you are expecting too much from him. That sounds really condescending, and I don't mean it to. But I learned recently that not everyone is aware. Not everyone can be aware. Right? You know how this conversation we're having is a little meta? Like it's like deep and has levels. Not everyone's going to get that. But not everyone is even interested in being that deep. So you're asking this man who all he knows is, let me feed my family, and how dare you come and it's cutting your hair, to now stop and think that, oh, maybe what I'm doing might not be correct. What do you mean that what I'm doing is not right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. At the root of it, what you said earlier when I said that's so sad, that we don't, knowledge is what is missing. That you don't even know the texture of your own hair. It's sad for all of us. And we're all, it's Bible that said this. We're all dying from this lack of knowledge. It sucks.
So here's what I think. I think it's on two levels. In the sense that when I said my locks, it had nothing to do with texture. It had nothing to do with kumbayarism. I just felt like if I'm not going to have to go to the salon anymore, then this is what I need to do for my own peace of mind. That was what was going on in my head.
Your logical
So you should have seen the disappointment in my face when, first of all, I went there. This guy rubbed my head aggressively around and around and around and around with like a block of foam. And then he put sticky things in my hair. And then he put me under the dryer and the thing didn't dry. And I was like, I'm trying to get away from this. Honestly, I don't know why I even stuck with this whole locking process. Because it wasn't pleasant in the beginning. And it wasn't really solving the problem that I was trying to solve. So I think, thinking back right now, I probably really wanted it. That's why I stuck with it. But I wasn't thinking about colonialism. I wasn't thinking about, relaxers being bad for my hair. I wasn't thinking about... I wasn't thinking about relaxing my hair because it made me more acceptable in society. It was just what you had to do. Like, when I was 11, I begged for a perm. I think I had gotten into SS1 and I started wearing skirts and they let you keep your hair. And I told my mom, because my mom had a perm, everybody, my aunts and people had a perm. So you want to mirror what everybody else is. So you're not really thinking about it.
And you shouldn't be at 11.
And I would say years have passed. And now you have a lot of beautiful women wearing nice, beautiful afros. It's nice. And then people mirror that, but without the underlying tone of
pressure of, sticking it to the man or nothing. It's just, I love my hair, looks beautiful. Look, you can, like, representation.
But don't you think that that's where the problem is? Like, people need to be more aware that we have been cheated of something, or let me not say cheated, we have been robbed
yes,
of something that is uniquely ours,
yes,
that
absolutely.
we can identify
Absolutely,
with.
yes.
So it's a little bit more than...
It has to be deep first, but then it can now become like, it's beautiful hair and this is how to style it. We do have to first confront that whole, this is
my hair.
Yes.
This is my hair.
Yes.
So first of all, that's the main issue.
Absolutely.
This is my hair. So we need more representation, but we need more representation with awareness. That's what I think.
Yes. But see, when I said that whole, when a lot of people I meet, with Locs, or people that I first met with Locs, and they're like, I'm going on this journey. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm not here to do all of that. I just really, I did it for my husband. Hi, baby. So, he was like, you should do it. It would look great. And I'm like, fine, I'll just do it. Not because I didn't think it would look great. Not because I just resisted because I was like comfortable with what I was doing. But I think the point I'm making is it wasn't a big political statement. It was, even till today, maybe I'm just really naive. Or I told you I work with many Black people. I work in a county where it's all Black people. So I don't even think about my hair. Like, a lot of people would not think, because right now I have like a pompadour. A lot of people will not think to go to, Ernst and Young, whatever, accounting firm with my hair. But I didn't even think about it. I just, told you. And listeners, every time that Ade does my hair, we have this discussion about the style. She wants me to try something new. I want to do an updo because an updo is practical. She can relate to practicality.
I can. And we always get to do an updo. The first, listeners, since we're reporting each other now. The very first time she came, we did this nice,
Side
fish
swept.
braid thing. And then she came after 6 weeks, and she's like, I want that style again. Don't you want my market to sell? How would Instagram know that we know how to do different things?
Fair enough. So I am your muse. So you have to practice.
I'm like, we have to show the world that there's different levels.
Within some kind of, I don't know, because I'm not going to stress myself. The whole point why I come to you is so that, for the next however long, I don't have to think about my hair.
Yeah, we're getting there. I think we're finding a balance.
Yes,
so we've been doing. I know the second time we changed it up a little bit.
Yes. Now
we're doing well.
It's a burgeoning relationship. We're getting there.
The next time your next appointment.
Oh Lord, I'm not ready to think about that one yet. Please.
We'll see how that goes.
But I think everyone should get locks. I mean, now, when you look at Instagram, it has become, Instagram is something else, but now it's become this whole high maintenance thing too.
Oh my God. You see people flat ironing their locks, brushing their locks, loosening the ends of their locks to get curly ends. It's a whole
Yeah. And for people who went into it for just low maintenance, chill, wash my hair and, moisturize it and go on. Now it's like, oh my God. Then you start feeling this weird pressure, like, am I not doing anything? And I'm just like, no, I'm good. I'm good with this. Maybe it's because we as humans, everyone wants to be the next new thing.
And we're at that age where you can also advertise your next new thing to the whole world.
Instagram, the next second.
And you want to go viral, so it doesn't even make sense anymore.
Nope.
What you do, you just want to go viral. But so honestly, some of the things I've seen, I'm just like, oh God, I don't even have the energy to fight and talk on these platforms, because I'm like, I guess that's the point.
Do you feel like you have huge responsibility on your shoulders for the information, just spreading knowledge about locks? Because again, not only are you a loctician, but you have locks as well. So do you feel like the pressure of the responsibility?
No, actually. So, Locs is started as a hobby.
Okay.
And I think the reason why I've been able to sustain it for this long is because I still, in many ways, think about it and treat it like a hobby.
Okay.
So I'm not like I never started this business trying to change the world. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And for the most part, like we're saying before we started recording, I think I've used that phrase like 100 times in this episode. But I was telling you that I named the business after my blog, and that was because my hair had a whole new attitude. So I was like, hey, I started writing about this whole experience I was enjoying with my hair, and for the most part, it has been me sharing the things that worked for my hair, and then I've gotten to do this professionally. But there's still an underlying, like, so when you come to me and I say that you're struggling and you're using all these products in your hair, I don't feel like I tell you, I show you what I can see, tell you why I do what I do. And I feel like it's left for you to choose. Everybody still has their choice, you know.
Have people been receptive to that?
Yes, for the most part, like, you know, a lot of people have been receptive. I do have a client who's supposed to come in, who's been panicking about his locks, actually. He wants them bigger, which I understand. And like I said, Locs is a whole business. It's even so much of a business that I don't think I see how much of a business it is. Let me put it that way. I still treat it like my
Side
nice
gig.
baby, you know, projects that I have. So he wants to combine his locks. And of course, you see people getting wigs on the internet with this crochet needle and crochet hook and all of that. I don't like it because if you're going to tease your hair with a crochet hook, you're going to be breaking a lot of your hair strands. That's one. Two, what they call this place? Your wrists.
Your wrist, yeah.
Are going to ache you. I'm a loctician. But I did not sign up for slave labor.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So when he came, I was like, I know what you want to do. I think you should get what you want, but I'm not the person.
Okay, so you do not combine locks, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't do it because I feel like I'm damaging your hair, and I don't want to damage your hair like so knowingly. Except you tell me that we're going to cut off this hair tomorrow anyway. And if we're going to do that, then I shouldn't stand for 12 hours doing that work, you know?
And so there's no other way to combine locks other than that damaging way, is what you're saying.
Well, you could combine them at the roots. So the parts that are not locked yet, and then you have scissors ends. No, this he wants to like join combine the whole thing from
the body is fatter.
Yes, exactly. So that's what he would like. And so we had that whole conversation, and I'm like, no. And then he goes like, oh, but I still feel like my hair is not locking. So I want the beeswax in my hair, you know. And I kind of understand where he's coming from. And to be fair, since I moved and I have been doing hair here, I have encountered people with much more diverse textures.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So, and for the most part, I have still kind of used everything that I know has worked, but I do understand that there are some hair textures where, you know, there are some hair textures that don't necessarily work for hair that is not Afro kinky.
I was just gonna say that maybe that's my ignorance, but I just assumed that locks works. I mean, yes, we've seen like that, you know, that random crazy white dude in college that had locks and played the hacky sack. Everybody just thought that he was high all the time, whatever. But
that's also stereotyping.
Yes, that is a stereotype. But he was actually high all the time. So what there's that. I just assumed that you have to have, you know, 4C, for lack of a term, 4C, 4B, kind of like, you know, what we know as Afro hair. For it to lock, because that's the natural progression of Afro hair when it's not combed or detangled.
So true. So as long as the hair has some kink in it, it will lock. Okay. That's a fact.
Okay.
But how fast it's going to lock, it's a different thing. So the kinkier it is, the faster it locks. The less curl you have in your locks, the slower it will be.
Makes sense.
And then when you have somebody who is desperate to have their hair like lock up, immediately it becomes like, okay, what shortcuts do you want to do? And because for me, it's really like embracing this naturalness. Like, just let your hair do what it wants to do, you know. However, I am a business, so I need to be able to balance
Trying to make that money.
what I think and helping the clients get what they want. And in cases where I personally can't do it, then I would be honest and say, hey, you know, I'm not the man for the job.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But it's been quite interesting. But most of the principles have lasted. Okay. So, when are you going to start gluing your edges to your forehead?
That listen,
I feel like at this point I'm gossiping.
Yes, you are. And also I'm just gonna say for your listeners, please apologies to anyone who does that. That's your prerogative. It's your hair. I just don't understand it. At some point, again, Instagram, you look at Instagram and it just starts looking like slightly caricaturish. Like I'm like, what is, that's not what your edge does.
You know, so I think, here's what I think.
And the baby hair, you're not a baby. So what is a baby? Sorry, excuse me for non-Yoruba speakers.
Okay, so here's what I think. I think there's a nice way to do it.
Okay.
So sometimes it's nice. You know, sometimes clearly it's nice.
I'll say that.
You don't seem to be agreeing. Your facial expression doesn't match your words.
Again, this one is what my point about that is. Good for you, not for me. That's it. I don't understand it. Especially like with locks. So it is
counterintuitive. Yeah.
Thank you.
It is counterintuitive. So I actually feel like, you know, brushing your hair backwards is nice. You know, if you wanted to like kind of stick it down, it's nice. What I don't understand is like bringing the whole thing down and then gluing
it. Using all of the power gels and stuff. Hey man, you do it.
It's a bit and I also think I have a bias to the fact that I know that straight hair has been used to oppress our people. So when I came to that awareness, that the reason a lot of my ancestors, mothers, grandmother, permed their hair was because they needed to fit in, was because they wanted to, you know, they had to,
the beauty standard, if you
will.
So
I'm like, no, you know what? My cocoa will stay there. I couldn't be there.
I understand.
It's like a defiance.
That's exactly the sentiment I was saying when I was saying I don't want to be like anti-Karen, but because once you know, you're like, no, no, it's just no, sorry. And
I also think we need to kind of we have to be responsible for what beauty standards are.
Yeah. God, that's
so
hard.
You know. And
because we're fighting an almost like losing battle, because not only are we individually responsible for beauty standards, yes, but collectively, like the stuff that comes every day on TV and every day in magazines and radio and all that, just stuff that you see, or just tiny things like when they're like, oh, the certain picture of hot chicks, or oh my gosh, like Beyonce again. Please know that I'm not like what's her name said, Issa Rae. I'm rooting for everyone black. I don't hate Beyonce. I'm just for an example purpose, like the what Beyonce represents. Even if you wanted to go into colorism, the light skinnedness, the straight hair, all of that. Somehow, when you just keep seeing that's the only picture of what pretty is. That's the only picture of what the guys want or whatever. Even when you even go to even body types, where now the thing is you have to be skinny thick, which means you have to be skinny but have this proportion of waist, but you know, all of that. It's like you might not know that it's going in.
You know what this whole thing reminds me of? The Hunger Games.
Oh dear.
Remember the
Please, I want to know how.
The districts, it's been a while. So the districts with the affluent people.
Yes.
If you remember how they were depicted in that movie, they had colored hair.
Oh, yes.
They seemed like they had done some aesthetic
all of their,
work.
They just were more colorful and more robust looking. Yes.
Not even robust, plastic.
Oh, yes, no.
I think plastic is...
Stepford wifey.
Yeah. So they were all that thing. So maybe the more, it's just human nature that the more affluent, the more comfortable you become, it's natural for you to want to try to change your physical appearance.
Some people argue that I don't know if you know Abe Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You know how, although side comments, they claim that even that hierarchy of needs is kind of like biased because it doesn't apply to everyone. But let's table that. So anyway, the hierarchy of needs. food, basic, like shelter, all of that. When you're rich, no, not even rich, wealthy, and when the society is built for you and you have everything you need, all of those are met.
Yeah.
So you're not really worried about, how you're going to pay rent or what you're eating.
You need a box.
So of course you're going to be worried about your dog getting a massage. Or, you're going to worry about, oh my God, Botox. I mean, hey, again, get your Botox if you need it. Listeners, I'm not a hater. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you compare it to like, quote unquote, developing world, there are people who are hungry here too, but the way they depict like Africa and Asia and, like, we're trying to figure out how to feed people.
But
that's what we're doing right now.
This trend is interesting, and I'm happy that you kind of put it the way you put it, because you go from saying that when you do not have problems, then you start to look for other things that you want to change about yourself and you do. But the truth is that...
Or you have more free time.
You go to the third world countries as well, but there's, no offense to Omalata. Funny enough, I have a friend who has a business there. It's called Omalata. But anyway, what I mean is you see as somebody who is trading on the streets and they have this wig on, even though they're under the hot sun, and it's more practical for you to have your DD,
right?
But you have the wig on, you have glued eyelashes on. You know what I mean? You can barely go to the tailor without them asking you if you want to add hips to your clothes so that you are more well-rounded. At least if you cannot afford the
Brazilian, but BBL,
that thing, then BBL. You can as well buy some pads and you can wear it. What are we doing? Like, jeez. So is this just the new normal? Have we become our parents who are just old? Like.
Yeah, well, there's something to be said for that.
I don't even have kids yet. I don't want to be that old yet. But
girl, don't fight it. Listen, maybe old also has something to do with some level of comfort and like comfort in yourself, in your body, where you're like, I'm not doing that. If these are the size that I have, these are the size that I have. I'm not saying that does not preclude exercise and, eating well and all that. Moving your body, of course. But to now be doing all of this like padding and to what end?
So this is very interesting. Now, when we talk about hair,
we have digressed completely.
No, it's all coming back. Okay. It's all coming back.
Okay.
When we talk about hair, are we still on point? when we talk about hair and the effects of colonialism, slavery, and all of that on hair, you see that the Black person, the Black individual, has largely tried to mirror the beauty standards of a white person to be able to fit in. Yes. But when it comes to body...
Thank you.
What's happening there? Yes, you can say that we're trying to...
Hello.
But you can say that, you could say, generally speaking, the trend is to mirror the look of an African woman's body type.
Yes.
So is that not a good thing?
The people who have knowledge about this, who have the letters behind the name, will say that while on its face, it's great. It sounds great.
It looks flattering.
It's just like people who are tanning, right? That's a good thing-ish because you're trying to, mimic dark skin. But they're not doing it and then saying, oh, we're trying to be like you. No, they're also like almost like appropriating, taking and saying, oh, it's just like somebody, one of the, I don't know, let me not use somebody, some white lady, some white young chick did braids and was like, oh my God, I just created like Fulani braids or something like that. Nah, B, you did not just create it. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no credits given. And also, if you want to take it deeper, if it's a society that is built on white supremacy, which means, I'm not saying people are racist, which means that the system is built for a certain like people, right? Which is white people. Even if they're copying Black people, we still don't have power. We still don't have resources. So you're copying me to, I'm still suffering. You're still going to cross the road when you see me. I'm still getting killed by cops disproportionately. So on its face, it's I don't know. It's lovely. Thank you for copying me. What did they say about, is it mimicry is it's like flattering, but it's nothing. That's all that it is, flattering. Because we're still, as you said, Yalata on the side of the street is still wearing straight hair with eyelashes, about to glue shut her eyes, but she's doing it because that's what we do.
That's what we do. Okay, that's what we do.
I don't know, man. That sounds so dismal. It sounds so sad. When we end on that note, that like, what do we like? Is there hope?
Yes, there is hope.
Well, there is hope actually, because your
hope.
Business in Lagos is doing great.
Yeah, it is.
There is hope. The fact that you have enough people saying, "I want to get my hair done."
Yeah, it is. There is hope, and there is hope, and I just feel like the purpose of this line of this podcast, where this next few episodes are going, it's really to try and understand. It's not to judge. It's not to try and tell people what is right and what is wrong. And
because we don't know.
Yeah, and I hope that from the banter that we've had today, people can get that we're like trying to think through the issues. Why are we doing what we're doing? What can we do right? To the man who beat up his son for locking his hair, like why? What exactly? To all the people who are commenting on this thing on Instagram, what exactly are you guys really saying? Is it let us park the fact that he's living in his father's house for 1 minute. All of us live in our father's houses until we're well into our 20s in Nigeria.
That has nothing to do with anything.
He's not supposed to be anywhere else but his father's house at that point. Assuming he's a young adult. So maybe he's at that age where we don't necessarily even make money until you get your real first job. Our Nigerian parents take care of us very well. So nobody might be really asking him to even go and make any money.
No.
But what exactly is wrong with that hair? What exactly
the hair that's growing out of his head?
Yeah. And I think in saying that, I feel that having changed my location very recently, you are able to... I have the benefit of seeing things from both sides, and I'm kind of like living Nigeria as a proper adult, literally an old woman.
You have a perspective that plays an important part in this. Yes.
And I feel like we are so used to bashing ourselves.
Yes.
We tend not to appreciate the things that we have. We also tend not to see the effect of our choices and how they actually play into the hands of our so-called quote and unquote oppressor or former oppressor. Because
that was deep.
So let me put it this way. You have your hair natural. You are patronizing Locitude. But let's say in a year you spend an average of, let's say, 10,000 naira a month at Locitude, and you're good. You come every month and you spend 120,000 naira in Locitude a year. You have supported a Nigerian business. You have given
female
you have giving all of us a source of income and a source of livelihood. And it's not just Ade, it's Roger, it's Blessing, it's Marian, it's Happiness, it's all of these people. You have done well, but you also have 10 sets of Brazilian weave in your closet.
Sorry. Right?
I know you didn't see that coming.
I showed it now.
You didn't see that coming. That Brazilian weave is worth probably, I don't know, 20, 30,
more,
40,
more than the
50
amount you
times
spend,
more that you have spent
at Locitude.
At a homegrown, like purely Nigerian business. And that money in effect might be sold to you by another Nigerian, but the truth is it's not manufactured in Nigeria. All of that revenue is still going outside the country.
That's true.
So, and that is what is kind of keeping the Naira low. It's not just Buhari. You know what I mean? Because you are not manufacturing anything.
We're not doing
so
anything.
So it's like we are contributing unknowingly to our downfall and to our failures in some of the decisions that we make. Now, this is not making excuse for our leaders or all the things that are wrong with Nigeria and all of those things. However, I'm just saying, if we take a step back, look at the issues properly and think on it a little bit more, you might be able to make one or two choices that are actually favoring you, and then we're not just complaining. And if there's anything I've learned about America, is that it is as difficult as Nigeria. You just don't hear the complaints as much as we complain about ourselves in Nigeria.
Exactly.
So
I think that's a great idea, what you said. But man, that's a tough ask, man. That's a tough ask. Of like, think about your my aunt that is like 60 something. It's a tough ask, that she should not only, maybe she might think about having her hair natural, but she always have that wig to wear. Because how can she just walk out with the hair like that?
But the truth is, and when I say we need to start producing, so that's where the whole thing is just messed up in my head, because I'm not necessarily even saying that you shouldn't wear the wigs. But if we're producing the wigs, it will be better. And then people will tell you that they're producing the wigs, but it's not technically true, because you're getting the hair from someone else. Yeah. So you're not really, it's not like you're using Nigerian hair.
But then that now ties into the fact that we have made the fact that Peruvian hair or whatever, I don't know,
is the most superior.
Exactly.
Is the more.
So we have to first challenge that. Who's gonna say, okay, no? I guess somebody on Instagram has the false. Go on Instagram and start saying that, oh, Nigerian hair is the best. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's
and there's also the layer that guys like it. There's also that layer. Let's not forget that you kind of have to be competitive. And to be honest, I have fallen for that kind of pressure before.
Yes, you're only human. I mean,
yeah. So I did when I did work corporate at an e-commerce company. This was like 2012, 2015, around that time. Tech money just entered Nigeria. All of us started earning well, so people were able to take care of ourselves. Earning a decent salary, and you could do stuff. And almost every girl at the office had this long flowy hair. At that time, I already had my locks, so I was the odd one out.
And how long was it?
I was probably like 4 years in.
Okay, so
I had length.
Okay,
but this was
maintenance was hard.
It wasn't just hard, but like my stylist at the time wasn't creative because they didn't know what to do with the hair.
So you weren't getting pompadours?
So no, no. So that was what kind of morphed into what Locs became, and it was literally trying to meet up with the pressures of, and then I was also dating somebody that works in the same office. So when you all come to work together and you can see the other girls on point, literally on point, it looks nice. Truth be told. And you're like, somebody's going to steal my boyfriend. Let's not yap him here because he encouraged me to keep my hair. I was ready to cut it. I was ready to cut it to be like everyone else. But he was one that was like, oh, your hair is nice. Your hair is nice. I was like, you actually like this hair. You never said that before. So, but like I said, I could have easily fallen for that pressure. So it's not like I'm so woke that I decided that my hair is my hair. And I'm not
you weren't sticking it to the man. Come on.
This was not about wokeness. This was like someone just gave me small courage that you're not looking too bad, know. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll do this. And I started doing more with my hair, started writing the blog, and then that's how all of this started. So I think we need to kind of think about our choices a little bit more, be a little bit more responsible for what we do. I try as much as possible not to wear false eyelashes, not because they don't look nice, but I just feel like somewhere in my brain, I feel like it feeds into the narrative of
that what you have is not enough.
Without knowing, without realizing, because you're just doing it because it's what we do.
Right.
But why is it what we do? When you start to think about that,
if you want to go farther, some people say, why are you doing your nails then? Why are you getting gel and all that stuff?
Let's talk about that.
Oh dear.
Because why do I gel my nails?
I think they look lovely.
Why don't I just carry my nails? Or why can't I just do henna?
Because that's what you choose right now. See, again, I think there's a trap of being, and I don't want to say woke. When you're aware, when you're a deep thinker, there's a trap of constantly making everything super deep. While, yes, it does have a layer of that because it is a false thing you're adding to your body, right? But it could just be a choice you're making right now just because you like the way it looks.
Yeah. I do like the way it looks.
That's it.
And to be honest, I can give you reasons. They might just sound like reasons, but I'll go ahead and give you those reasons. Anyway, so my nails are quite soft. My nails are in water all the time. When I do the deep, I actually didn't used to paint my nails in Nigeria for the most part because they broke all the time and there was no point. And when you even do just regular gel and you do people's hair, it will get trapped in the hair. So I used to do henna. And it was practical. But I have found the dip thing. This dip, it lasts for like 6 weeks. Guys, my nails will grow out. I will still be carrying these nails until...
And it still looks... It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. It just looks longer.
Yeah. So that's why I do the dip. And it's practical. So it allows me... I've always liked to do my nails from when I was, college, university. So I've always liked to do my nails. And I think with the business, for the most part, I actually stopped because it wasn't practical.
Right.
And I found a way to do it again.
Right.
So I'm doing it again. However, I don't feel like it's
It's okay if you want to put false seeds sometimes.
no,
I guess is the thing.
It's okay. It's okay. But I personally just feel like the more you know, there are choices that you can make. Another choice I actually even tried to make early on in my life in like 2012. I think that was the time for anybody in Nigeria, that was Good Luck Jonathan and Made in Nigeria. And there was a slogan for it. I can't remember what it was now. But there was this awareness that was being pushed onto Made in Nigeria products.
Nice.
And I was working in e-commerce where you could pretty much wear anything to work, which was like one of the only corporate place where you can wear whatever you want to wear. So I started to sew this oleku. Oleku is the short boba and Euro. I love them. And I used to just wear them to work Monday through. It wasn't a Friday thing.
You had a different one.
Show
There you go.
I would just show up and I was like, really like, okay, you know what? Yeah, what's wrong with, why do I have to wear English clothes all the time?
Right.
Why can't I just wear something that's traditional? Why can't I do my own thing? And then I realized that 90% of the fabric in Lagos market is actually not even made anywhere in Africa.
Where is it made?
It's made in Europe. Most of them come from all the Ankara that we wear, that is our national identity. So I was just like, wow. And that made me stop because I was like, what's the point? Wearing Ankara and wearing jeans is the same thing. Yeah. I'm not necessarily fostering my country's agenda by choosing to wear this particular fabric over the other. So I might as well just wear whatever, because guess what? There is no textile industry that is producing at scale for it to even be a choice in the country.
Maybe you should consider, I mean, you don't have to move back to Nigeria because we need you here. You should consider being like a consultant to somebody running in government so that they can consider how to develop a textile industry. That's just one part.
You want us to talk about Nigerian problems now?
No, we're not. Dear God, we do not have the time.
This podcast is not going to finish.
No, ma'am.
I think we're almost actually at the 1 hour mark. And so I would love, because I do know that data is expensive. And I would love for people to listen to this conversation from beginning to end. So I'm going to cut it a little bit short now. So before I wrap it up, I want to say, Amelia, I'm looking forward to being on your podcast. I think your podcast should be called Coffee with Amelia, or you're going to be talking about all things, your experiences in life. And I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I have also enjoyed having you on today. Thank you. I'm also telling the world that I'm asking Amelia to please come and ad-lib on future episodes that we're going to have. So there's this whole plan to have episodes where we kind of pick historical people from like 1800s up to like 2022 of people who have locks and what they've done, and to hope to be able to portray or have representation so that man on the internet can stop beating her son, so that if we're able to, so if I'm able to say like the history of Jay-Z, which is not necessarily the best history because it has drugs, everything.
Oh, that's fine.
However,
we'll just
imagine Obama with locks that became. Imagine Obama with locks that became the American president, the first Black American president, in the world with locks. And
I know why you're going
that kind
so
of
far.
history.
Why don't you say Nigerian president first?
We're getting there.
That might even be more far-fetched than an American president with locks.
We'll see. I think we might mean an American one first because we always mirror.
We want to follow.
We always mirror.
Yes.
So, but we'll see. So, but I hope that she ad-libs when I get to tell stories of amazing people.
Absolutely.
Who I think we'll call Lock Heroes or something like that.
So many projects. Coffee with Amelia, ad-lib, Lock Heroes. I mean, you guys, man. Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to be her hobby.
That's funny. Exactly.
I'm your part-time project.
There you go.
Amelia, thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure having you on. And any last words for our listeners?
Go get locks. And when you get locks, call Ade to get your locks done.
Yay!
She'll hook it up.
All right. This has been the Talking Locs with Locitude podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. I lie. Most places where you listen to your podcast, like Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, all those good places, YouTube as well. I'm going to try and see if Amelia and I can take a nice picture so that you get to see what she looks like and she'll be on the cover of the podcast episode. Please don't forget to follow us. We are on Instagram at Locitude, LOCITUDE. Amelia, would you like to drop your social media?
Coffee with Amelia.
Okay, and then watch out. I think she's fantastic. Of course, you've listened to this conversation, so I would like to be having some tea and listen to Amelia's podcast in the future. Yes. Thanks again, and as always, I'm Ade Balogun, and see you when episode 30 comes. 30 episodes soon.
Look at you.
Bye.